Imagine navigating thousands of miles on the giant Mississippi River in only a kayak, a homemade kayak, with your spouse. This Wisconsin couple did just that. One had a love for adventure, one was hesitant, but they both had the urge to serve others.
Yeah, and their trip and stories are chronicled in this memoir, It's Paddle for a Purpose. And we are happy to welcome Barb and Gene Geiger to the Yellow Couch. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Great to see you.
Homemade? Who made the canoe or the kayak?
I started making it before I knew Gene. I started it with my dad and my son as a 3-generation project.
Cool.
And then I finished it with Gene years later.
Did you know it was going to float?
No, we were pretty sure.
It's wood, so that's one step.
A little buoyant.
Is it true the first time you took it out, you decided to make this huge trek?
He did.
Oh, he did.
So who was the hesitant one?
We had it on the lake maybe an hour, and it floated, and I said, hey, let's take it down the Mississippi. And she gave me this look like, you want a what?
Yeah.
Was the original idea that you would just maybe take a little day trip down the Mississippi and then you just kept going?
No.
How did this come to be?
His original idea was to do the whole thing without stopping, just as many miles as we could do each day. And I wasn't real excited about that. But then a few months later, we were in church and we both felt called to add service to the trip to others and make it about other people instead of making it about rushing down the river. And that made all the difference for me, and I was all in and I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
I love that.
super
Our motto,
cool.
shortly after we started, was it's about the people, not the paddle.
Yeah.
And the paddle's the hook, but it was all about our services.
And I want to talk about the service you did and how you lived on the Mississippi. But first, it's true, isn't it, that there's this nickname for a 2-person kayak?
It is.
Is it called the divorce boat or
It
the
is.
divorce kayak?
It is.
The
Yeah.
divorce boat.
Yeah.
And
How'd you guys get along 5 months together all the time, spending all that time together?
Well, fortunately, we love each other a lot, so that helps.
You better.
It's rather interesting. We had a little agreement between us that there wouldn't be any complaining or any blaming for anything that went wrong. In fact, we had a little bracelet that we would switch hands. Anytime we got caught complaining, you'd have to switch the bracelet. And the idea was to not have to switch that bracelet. So that worked out really well for us.
And sometimes that even became a joke.
Yeah.
Because we would agree to complain twice and then leave it on the same wrist.
Wow, sweet. I think anybody who boats with their significant other knows that it's difficult. If you can go boating with your significant other and learn to manage it, you can do anything together. And it sounds like that's what you guys have learned to do. So it sounds like you stuck with that idea and then added the service. So where did the service start? What did you first start doing together?
We started in the first city on the Mississippi, Bemidji, Minnesota.
Yeah.
And we started with Fishing Has No Boundaries. We helped them to earn money for their week of working with fishing with handicapped individuals.
It's wonderful.
They fundraise all year long for just one weekend of fishing for these handicapped on pontoon boats.
Yeah.
So they'll have 20 pontoon boats on the lake, everybody fishing. And we were there the week before the event, so we didn't get a chance to do the fishing with them, but we did some of the fundraising.
That's so neat. The first trek out, because that was among your first service trips, your first trek didn't start out so great though, right?
It was a rough week.
Yeah, you capsized, right?
Little tip, twice.
Twice. And just got back in?
No complaining?
No, actually,
No, we laughed.
we had a lot of laugh and splashed each other and had a good time in the middle of the park while everybody was watching.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wonder if, sometimes it could be a little scary being out on the big Mississippi.
We had one overturn in the middle of a stump field that there was nobody anywhere within miles. And we spent about 3 hours balancing on a beaver log, trying to rewrite the boat and get everything organized and do it safely. Took us 3 hours to get off that beaver log.
Wow.
Wow.
I can imagine that teamwork that you put together to accomplish those things, and you take into these nonprofits and the groups that you're working with. You went and helped build a house with Habitat for Humanity.
Yes, we worked on building a house in Crystal, Minnesota, and we did the insulation, and then we did the poly wrap of the rooms, and we helped with the sheetrock installation. So I learned all kinds of new skills that I didn't know before.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
We got to talk about the camping because you guys know this. We talked about this a little bit during the commercial break. I know you camped quite a bit. Do both of you just love camping?
I used to love camping, and now I love it again. I can put it that way. I thought that I was finished with camping. I thought I was finished sleeping on the floor, sleeping on the ground, and all the bugs and mosquitoes. But it turns out that I wasn't finished yet.
Okay. Were you okay? Were there enjoyable parts to it?
A ton of them,
absolutely.
yes. And we're still camping now. We're doing trips. We call them gratitude trips.
Yeah.
And we sell a few books on the way too, but the purpose of the trips is to go back to areas where we did paddle through and thank the people who helped us.
I know you've got this great book, but I feel like you've got like a nonprofit or a group in you to have people join you at least in parts of this journey. So I'm excited to see what you guys do from here forward.
Well, that's a good point because we're using all of the author profits from the book to give back to the charities that we served.
Very cool.
So that
neat.
is our nonprofit.
Yeah, people got to get a hand on one of those books. Paddleforapurpose.net is where you can find out more about the Geigers, their book, their trek, which is absolutely wonderful. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks
for having
It's
us.
been a great time.
Thank you.